There comes a moment when you've exhausted all your options while simultaneously coming across a product that reinvents your notion about what an honest and high-quality company looks like. The Healing Rose was the catalyst to that very moment for me. The Healing Rose Company is a female-owned Massachusetts CBD company based out of Newburyport that prides themselves in using only the best USDA-certified organically sourced ingredients for their vast line of therapeutic products. Their line stretches from lip balms, tinctures, skin balms, roll-on oils, and bath products. Their transparency places them above the rest with third-party tested results showcasing their intolerance to toxic pesticides, solvents, metals, and harmful elements. They provide full-spectrum CBD in many of their products, excluding their tinctures, which carry a broad spectrum profile, ideal for not having to worry about any low-level THC, which is common for many CBD products. That one's my favorite, and it's good on the palate. Full spectrum means that they extract from the hemp plant an array of different therapeutic cannabinoids along with CBD and their profile terpenes. The combination results in a greater outcome of healing and relaxation for any individual's needs. Whether you are an athlete looking for any recovery advantage, a patient in need of some relief to remind yourself that you are still a warrior, or someone who sees the frontiers of life with a little reserve and want to calm the mental storms that keep you from personally exploring, the Healing Rose CBD Company is here for your full body and mind optimization. Please visit thehealingroseco.com to explore their diverse line of products and support one of New England's best rising stars in an industry where ethics are fundamental, and a company like this will only be found sitting at the throne of it all. Use the code SAGAS, S-A-G-A-S, for 10% off your purchase. Again, visit thehealingroseco.com and use the promo code SAGAS at checkout for 10% off your purchase. To the many martial artists, entrepreneurs, dreamers, and thinkers, how often, for your own sake, would you love a symbolic reminder of your mentality and the perfect dichotomy to match? Murder Nerd is an independent clothing apparel line that represents the sharp, relentless focus towards personal growth and athletics. It embodies the vitality of their creative owners and the network of people who run on the same frequency. Why not elevate your frequency in comfort and style? Visit www.murdernerdsfitness.com for their personal line of shirt and hat wear. Enter the promo code SAGAS, S-A-G-A-S, for 10% off your purchase. Again, visit murdernerdfitness.com and enter the promo code SAGAS for 10% off your purchase. All right, here we go. Yep, okay, I can hear it. So we're going to try something a little new this time around in a couple different ways. Oh boy. So let's see. So one way, if you can tell, picked up a mic for the phone, so hopefully the audio is a little better. This is mostly going to be, I really got this actually for the No Stones Unturned kind of sub-series I wanted to do, just because I feel like I need to reference my phone with very specific things here and there as I'm speaking. And because I pick up the damn phone, my voice cuts out or gets really faint, so, that just sounds ridiculous. So luckily I got this mic, hopefully it doesn't blow up or melt, but I got it clipped on the zipper, so I think that'll work. I got it right in front of me, so hopefully the audio is okay with this. Let's see. The other thing too is I'm actually doing the sauna right after a workout. I think I heard somewhere where doing the sauna right after working out is good for you. I don't totally know why, at least in that aspect, but I'm sure it's got something to do with something cardio or something muscle recovery wise. I don't even know. But that's what I do. I just try things that crazy people say and I see if it works. So I'll see how it goes. I'm already friggin' sweating. So, let's see. So the big thing that I wanted to try to address with this one is something I, like a lot of other things, I've had to work on tremendously lately. And I've only worked on it because of me trying to relay the information to my wife. So what I mean by that is, this kind of crosses into other things, but the main thing is the expectation game. It's unreal how much we can get caught up in our expectations of everything, and just how much I know I have been conditioned into expecting outcomes, situations, and mostly behavior. So what I really mean by relaying it is, because the idea is that, all right, I'm going to be very honest with this one, but I'm going to do well with kind of treading carefully with this. You know, when you go through anything, and whether it's you go through an illness, you go through a loss, you go through just change, I guess, a radical change in your life, you kind of have to sit on the bench for a little while. And some people don't know what to do with you when you do that. And you know, when something happens to you that's drastic and it kind of pulls you away from your normal routines with your normal people, even if you explain yourself fully, some people will just not understand or integrate that information into their life. And that's okay. I guess they don't have to, right? Let's say you move away, right? But you have really good friends and you want to stay friends with them. But you just living that far away is just not good enough for your friends. That's an expectation that they have. They have an expectation of you maybe communicating a little more than you are. It doesn't bother you, but it might bother them. And somewhere along the line, just nobody communicates this. So then one piece of this, one person in this party kind of can grow like animosity. And that's really that's really the situation that we found ourselves in. Unfortunately, I've observed people that kind of have naturally backed away from the scenario that's happened in this house. They are there. They are helpful, and they're helpful to the degree that they can be helpful in, and they obviously live their own life. But in the beginning of the process, I think it can be very easy to be very reactive and say to yourself, where are these people when I need them? Why are they not checking in? Why are they speaking to me like nothing is actually happening when I've explained everything, right? And in the beginning, it's easy to have like this heavy visceral reaction to just like, you don't give a shit, do you? But, you know, it's hard to not have that because you're either isolated or the situation you're going through is very heavy and you need some kind of support. And you might think that you need quite a bit of support. And people just really are not available to give that to you. And because of that, you construct a false sense of like expectation, you know, if you even know what you're supposed to be getting. And, you know, and I know that that's very reactive, because when you don't feel good, whether it's mentally or whatever, physically, it kind of shrinks the universe down, and you kind of get fucked with this thought of like, you're the center of it. So where is everyone? And, you know, I've had to have conversations with my wife about just really expectations, and they're very healthy conversations, and they're conversations full of both of us trying to put ourselves in other people's shoes and scenarios, and really just boiling it down to everyone has a story that they're playing out, and it's incorrect of us to judge the severity of how big that story is or how significant that story is, just because we feel that ours is very significant. You know, and that's really just it's judgment. And I know I've judged, you know, and I still judge to a degree with different things. And some of those I justify, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, I'm trying not to judge and trying to kind of modulate and change and recalibrate the idea of expectations of people. And I think that the more that we had that conversation, the more we understood the core idea that some people may not be able to give you what you're looking for, even if those people have been in your life for a very long time. And, you know, it's like that feeling kind of runs through stages of like selfishness, and then anger, and then like grief, like, you know, bummer, I thought this was something else, and now when life gets very serious, I see that it's actually something else. And that sucks. That can really suck to feel that. You know, and as we talk about that and luck of the draw, a wonderful thing is that, you know, as one door closes, another one opens, right? And the universe just kind of sends people, they send you the right people at the right time. And then we get into this space of being gifted new people in our lives and being able to make additional friends, new friends. And that can be a muddy thing really as you get older too. Because you have a bigger sense of your identity, you flirt with a lot more individualism, whether that's healthy or not healthy. You just kind of know what you want. And you know what you want, but you also are so in a habit of just yourself and doing your thing, and depending on really just your emotional, mental, physical energy because of your age, how much of it do you even allocate to new people and how to treat them and what to expect from them and what do you think they expect from you, and do you want to play that game? And I almost feel like, to me, it boils down to just how comfortable are you having the relationship that you want, you know, and being happy with it, and not just kind of playing the script, right, I met somebody new, she's cool, he's cool, and getting caught up in this, how should I come across every time we come together, because I do want to stay friends with this person, they're very supportive, they show me new things, and just kind of unraveling that whole idea of like, what do you want to expect out of yourself in this new relationship with people. And luckily, like I said, we were given these new relationships, and they've pushed us into boundaries that maybe we didn't have too much before, and those boundaries they allow us to explore more of like a vulnerable side. These people are very accepting of a vulnerable side, and I think that's maybe just a part of maturity, getting older and all that stuff, with a lot of different things, but it's very valuable, like, it is a weird thing. I am very lucky to have very, very close friends who we've all changed along the road, and we've stuck together in changing. For the most part, all of us have stuck together. And, in changing, we allow ourselves to kind of expand our conversations and how we support each other. It's not all about just, Tennessee whiskey, heavy metal, headbanging, and fucking puking. Because as fucking great as that is, and as fun as that was, that's not what it is anymore, I mean, I wouldn't mind a little bit here and there, but, it's not that all the time anymore. And I think when you're younger, sometimes your foundation is built on those kind of moments, and you love them. But when the booze stops, and the music stops, and the shows stop, what are we sitting here talking about, How are we even on the same page? Who are we? But I'm lucky to have friends who have grown with me. And, but I'm also lucky to be able to have, to make new friends that have shown me things and pulled me to be more myself, really, than I ever have. And, hold on. So kind of to go back, like, the whole idea of having these conversations about expectations with my wife, it made me look at what my expectations really should be, because I've also been bothered by a bad sense of expectations from people, and have run the gauntlet of ideas of what's wrong with me, what's wrong with our relationship with certain people that I just don't communicate with anymore. And it's helped quite a bit, where there's a level of acceptance, and that acceptance really comes from practicing just being nice to yourself. I know it sounds very bumper stickery and whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's true. There is a very weird epidemic of like self-hatred in, I think, our culture, and I know that comes from a lot of different things. But in this very specific thing, it's like the nicer you are, the more you have positive kind of like inner conversations with yourself, the more you'll kind of expect from people. Because, I would expect a certain type of thing from a friendship that was kind of, the bulb was going out in it. And when it didn't meet that, it's like I took it as a personal thing, that I had done something, that I had acted in a certain way. I wasn't mindful enough in my interactions with this person, and and then continuing that conversation of, well, I think I've changed, I think I've evolved, I think I'm better than I was. I wish I had the chance to be able to show what I am now. Maybe this is what would have made the relationship last. And then just kind of boiling it down to, it is what it is. And it's a simple thing, but it's, to me, of kind of a profound just idea of just being, right? Let things lay as they lay. You know, I have a better sense of who I am, which in turn helps me expect less from people, because I can put myself kind of in their shoes a little more and know that I don't need to know why there isn't a certain amount of energy to bridge certain relationships, heal certain relationships, or even kind of maintain a relationship to a certain level, right? It takes energy, and we don't always want to have that energy. And that energy is lower and lower and lower, the worse I think we see ourselves. In whatever that means, you know, whether you don't like your job, or like how you treat certain people, or how you treat yourself, or where you are, or why you don't have enough money, or whatever, you know, it's a laundry list of why you could just not like yourself, and that's draining. So what's left for like your old friends, for your new friends, whatever? I know that's like a battery, you know, and if it's low, you know, people are going to know. You know, you don't give the effort in things that you want to give effort to. And that could just be texting, you know, trying to meet up, have a conversation, you know. And I think just having that conversation with my wife in the beginning, of just letting go of what you think old friends are supposed to act and be like, and accept them for what they are, as much as they are not meeting your expectation. You know, that's really getting caught up in just your own bad internal dialogue, you know. And it's easy to go there if you're in a really shitty spot. But finding new people and finding new friends and recalibrating your expectations with those people, you know, that can create even better relationships. You know, and I have, like, we get better as we go, hopefully, or you want to get better as you go. You know, and you always have a choice with a lot of things. I would almost say all things. I really would. Whatever you think that means, I believe you have a choice in almost everything. They're not easy, but you do. And, you know, you can have a choice of kind of creating a new standard for yourself. And sometimes what helps that are these people that, if you choose correctly, they pull that out of you, right? If you're if you feel that you deserve the raising of the standard of the people around you, then that's what you're going to get. And to me, that's what I've been given, you know. It's weird to make new friends after you're like 30 or so. You know, maybe it's not for some people. For me, it is a little bit. Like, and that's weird for me to say, because I love being around people, you know, I really do. But people can be weird, man. People can be weird. People come into your life at that age with, like, they can come into your life with a lot of baggage. And at that age, if you're still carrying it and it kind of guides a lot of your life, you're going to see it in some really kind of it's going to be obvious. You're not a confused 18-year-old. You're a confused 35-year-old. There's a lot more ramifications with that kind of shit. It's weird. And, it is. It's just weird for a lot of reasons. And I mean good relationships. I mean, like, I want to take family vacations. I want to, have you in my wedding party if you ever get married. Like, those type of relationships, the ones that you would introduce to your old ones and say, here, welcome this person. They're here to stay. And oh, Jesus, it's getting hot. Here we go. The dunce cap's turning on. Shit, where am I? Oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck I am. Having the conversation with her, just crossing that over to me, knowing that I have bad expectations, maybe letting go of some friendships, right? You try to meet people in the middle, and it just the worm is just not attractive enough even there. You're putting it in the fish's mouth and they're still not closing it. So out of respect for yourself, and not just kind of sitting there pondering and wondering and wishing, hopefully that good inner dialogue fuels your ability to just let go. Letting go is huge. It's so huge. Because you don't want to. And sometimes you really, really should. And it doesn't mean that you've given up or that they're correct in whatever false assumption you think they have of you. It's none of that. It's you just being good to yourself, but just not clogging up the mental pipes of just wondering. While still kind of like, it's that expectation game. Like, I get things can be difficult for people, and I understand that there are many different reasons that you could want to step away from a relationship, and not tell someone, right? I feel like this is kind of what we do as we get older, and I don't know if it's more with men or what, but if you don't want to be friends with somebody, you just fucking stop talking to them. That's it, And some people need closure, and I guess that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I don't go crazy over it, but it's nice to get closure, especially from people that you truly have loved, and you just wonder, like, oh, these ships really just have sailed too far away from each other. But, being good to myself, having kind of like conviction, and just knowing that I'm doing the best that I can, and that this is my situation, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it just counters that bad narrative of like, I am this, I am that, it is my fault, what has happened, this kind of groveling bullshit that I know myself I've wondered, or just fucking flirted with, really. And goddamn, phone blowing up. So, it's just, I don't know. I've noticed it lately. And it's something I've worked on, and I still really, really work on, because I've had to build bridges again and really just sever them all together because of the circumstances in this house. And that's hard for me to do, because that was the last thing I wanted. I didn't want this circumstance to fuck a lot of my relationships, because I'm just not available anymore. To a degree, I'm just not available. And I have to kind of come to terms with that, because I could get mad at my wife, I could get mad at the circumstance, I could get mad at myself, I could get mad at them. To me, that's like the easy default thought is anger when you're confused. You're confused, you don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna get mad. Fuck it. But, time and time again, it just shows that like that is the wrong thing to think and to feel. Not that you shouldn't feel it, but I guess you got to feel it to know if it's incorrect. And I didn't want that to happen, and it has happened. And it's, as I said, the choice is mine. The choice is mine to tell people the circumstance, tell people the scenario, tell people how I feel, instead of just not putting in any effort and then sitting back and saying, "Oh, you could have done better. We could have been here, but it's because of you." There's got to be some ownership in this, even if it's all a mystery as to why things have corroded away. Even if it's a mystery, it's healthy to just put the shit in your hand. It just is. Own whatever you need to own and work on what you can work on. And seeing this kind of play out in my wife's life has been very eye-opening for me, because I've really needed it, because it's been rough. There are some people I love that I don't communicate much with at all, and I've created a massive story around it. And I bet if you ask these people, they'd be like, I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. Life is just busy, and that's all that it is. And maybe that's what it is, but a little piece of that, I'm going to admit, what I hold on to, as I was mentioning earlier, is a new standard, right? I know what I want from people. If I'm going to allow people into the inner circle, I'm going to allow a new standard. And this new standard is, a piece of it is openness, vulnerability, showing me things that I'm afraid to see, and also elevating me in a way that is a humbling process. And what I mean by that is, like, be friends with people that you think are like better than you, right? Not as a person, but just smarter. They might be smarter. They might make more money than you. They might be more talented than you. They might be more inquisitive than you, eccentric, whatever it is. There's like a defense mechanism where we just kind of choose Okay. Yeah, we're done. We're almost done. We choose these people that we don't have to kind of like expose ourselves to, because we'll be embarrassed that we're not the alpha in the relationship or the smartest in the room, right? That's so foolish. And I tell you what, the few new friends that I have made, they're all of those and more beyond me. So what happens? They get to drag my ass to their level, right? I get to have good conversations, deep conversations. I get to be vulnerable. I get to talk about how I actually feel. They get to talk about how they feel. We get to intellectualize certain things without ridicule, because they understand the art of conversation, and the art of just friendship. And I love that, because it just makes me better. And that's all, and that's what I want, because if I'm better, I can serve them, and I can serve all of my old relationships better too. These people say things, I don't even know what they say. So you either can lie and say, yeah, oh yeah, just so you can stay in the conversation and not expose just your inability to comprehend. Or you can say, hey, what does that mean? What is that? They can either leave you behind, or you can choose to go with them, And it kind of comes down to your insecurity. And your insecurity is, is constructed by that inner dialogue, and a better inner dialogue makes you nicer to yourself. And if you're nicer to yourself and you work on that, then you just expect less from people out of the lens of just resentment and anger. And, I hope that makes sense, because that is kind of the trail that I kind of have walked to kind of get to this point. Because it just gives me more peace. And it really just allows me to go back and maybe build those old relationships again without the ego. Because if I build a story around all these people and I cement it to be true, the ego says, fuck that. It's them. They need to come to you. They need to come to you. You're the one going through this. You're the one. Da, 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 da. All this egocentric bullshit. And it's not that. Because if they never go there, and if they, like I said, if their narrative is totally different, you're in a stalemate and you don't even have to be there. I can make that move. I can allow for that door to open as long as I put that ego aside that I've tried to kind of take apart through kind of what I'm talking about. And it's just another thing that, fortunately and unfortunately, my wife has been able to show me. And this is why I owe her everything. So, I don't know. This was just kind of boiling up, and it was a last minute thing, and I don't know, I just wanted to address it because it really has been on my mind for years. And I'm sure I can break it down better, but this is just off the cuff. It's just, I've been trying to be better to myself. And in doing that, I'm just more accepting of just whatever else the story could be. Which then hopefully I believe will allow me to go back and kind of build those bridges again, stronger than before. Because I am more honest now than I was then. And in that honesty, I might be able to understand, this isn't something that really should be. And I will be okay with that. And that's the part of the closure that I think will also help too. So, I don't know. Expectations and just leaving the door open for old relationships and really new ones too. We gotta... I've tried to prioritize having the energy for new ones. Because they've been seeds that have kind of given me fruit because I've watered them, Of course, I always wish I could water them better, but they're getting a little sprinkle. They're getting the sprinkles I can give them, and they give me the nutrition that I need, and I'm forever grateful for that. So, all right, guys, peace out.